Welcome back to the answer. Last time we made some headway in the Malbolge area, defeating the first boss. Now I put Ken in the party because I need to level him up a bit, and it's time to explore the second area of Malbolge. One thing that I do like about the Abyss of Time is that every halfway point in an area, the entire aesthetic of the dungeon changes. So as we go through this door, well, we won't see it because we'll go to floor 8 first. Once we go to floor 9, things will start looking a little bit different. Now that I've got my notes on the enemies in the next area in order, let's enter. So yeah, there will be new enemies in this next area, obviously. And I'll just do what I usually do. I'll be showing fights the first time I encounter a new enemy, and then I'll be cutting out any future battles against that enemy unless something particularly funny or interesting happens. So let's move on to floor 9. Our destination is more obviously a palette swap of a Tartarus floor. Do like this cool blue aesthetic though. This I think is the third block of Tartarus. It's definitely not the second, and I don't think it's the... I think the fourth is the gold one, and then the one after is the Disco Rave Party. But yeah, this one I think is the third. I don't really remember much about the... like, the names of the Tartarus blocks. Let's see if that's better than what we currently have. Apart from the first one. Well, that's definitely better. Critical Art Medium is pretty nice. I remember Thebel, and I remember Monad, but other than that, and I remember, I mean, Empyrean is this one, so actually I do forget what the last block of Tartarus is called. But anyway, let's fight this thing. We have here... the Stoic Snake. Sounds like a rejected Solid Snake clone, but anyway... these things apparently show up as purple shadows in the previous area of Malbolge, but I've never actually seen purple shadows appear there, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, apparently they do, so these are considered strong enemies by the standards of the first area of the game. Level 30, so yeah, that's decently strong for that point. They are... yeah, so they are weak to light, and they drain ice and repel elect. So good thing we don't have Akihiko here, although also good thing we scanned this thing before Ken started attacking. Otherwise that would have been a threat to him. They use Marbufala, Zionga, and they've got a few annoying status attacks. So yeah, only being weak to instant death is not that great in this game. Well, unless you have Ken in your party, let's see if you can actually do something here. You actually did. That's surprising. You did it, Cancun. And if he actually hits this, I'll get to show something. Oh, well, he didn't. Was about to say, Ken actually has a new victory animation for the answer. A lot of party members do. And I don't think anyone here is weak to that, so that's fine. I guess actually resist that. So let's quickly finish you off.
This thing won't give up.
Or not. And there you go, making up for Ken's failure. And that line again. Definitely want Ken to level up as much as possible, because he's a little behind at this point. He's definitely best used as a backup healer. Once he learns healing, he'll be a lot more useful, but at this point, I don't know why they made him start the answer with no healing skills. So anyway, we have two new enemy types here. We have the Magic Hand and the Creation Relic. I think I'll scan the Creation Relic first. I know the hands are weak to fire, and then I know the Creation Relic blocks it. The reason why I want to scan the Creation Relic first, also this is going to be a good opportunity to demo Sati, is the Creation Relic nulls a lot of elements, so I want to make sure the scan goes through so my party members don't waste their turns. But yeah, those things are weak to fire. They also use ice attacks, which might be bad because I'm pretty sure Sati is weak to ice. I forgot about that. Well, at least one hand is down. And, yeah, Relic-type enemies are usually wind aligned, so I'm not too surprised that repelled wind there. But as you can see here, Repel Strike, Null Fire, Repel Wind, and Null Light, and its only weakness is Dark, which is pretty annoying. It doesn't have much in the way of offensive skills, though. It's more like just a wall of HP that can heal itself and has a lot of resistances. So they're not really too dangerous here. Let me just confirm. Yes, you are in fact weak to ice. I should probably switch off of that. And go to Genbu, because we need the Eye of Shining Justice on our side. I will keep referencing that. I have finally finished that game, by the way. And here we see one downside of Metis. Yeah, she's lured Maron Karen. And that means she's automatically going to be a lot less useful in combat. Although, probably the only reason she's using it here is because the enemy nulls both wind and strike, so she can't actually do anything offensively. And wow, Ken is already down? Yeah, that's kind of surprising. Okay, you're up next. Should I? I think I am going to revive Ken. Do I have anything here that nulls or resists wind? I've got a lot of things that resist wind, but not a lot that nulls it. Okay, let's go ahead and use my revival bit. I've got a lot of these. Because I don't want Ken missing out on experience here. Well, let's hope this time will be different. And that's almost certainly going on Metis. Yes, it is. Please don't let that kill Ken again. Well, thankfully, Yukari's immune to that, because we all have our upgraded personas rather than our starting ones. And I should be able to... Oh, right, I had auto Tarukaju and auto... gotta remember that Genbu does that. Because that's gonna really help. Okay, what we got in Shuffle Time? Take Minakata again. I don't want you. That's 3. Okay, I think... Yeah, didn't change. Going to be helpful for Ken, and yes, we will be able to do something with these gems eventually, just not right now. What to do here? I'm going to heal with Aegis, actually. Because I don't want to spend Yukari's SP. You turn around, please. You please turn around. I don't like Shadows getting preemptive strikes against me. In the answer, it usually ends badly. And there's a chest there. I might as well grab that before heading to the next floor. We have... Okay, something new. Vicious Raven.
Give me a sec.
This thing is actually kind of unique among flying-type enemies in this game. Talking about them as if they were Pokemon, but they are not, obviously. Now, let's see if I can have Titan do something here. Because we actually haven't seen Titan be summoned. All we've seen is Titan being used for his resistances. But this thing is weak to Mudo, and it didn't work. As is typical of Mudo in this game. Yeah, they kind of... Well, actually, I feel like in Vanilla Persona 4 they weren't that great either, but they buffed them a lot in Golden, and then in, well, I'll talk about this later. Firstly, I'll talk about the Vicious Raven. It drains Pierce. Yeah, a winged enemy that likes being shot with arrows. Who would have thought it? Null Fire, weak to ice and strong against wind, and it uses a lot of fire skills. So as long as you resist fire, it's really not that bad. Still kind of funny seeing a flying-type enemy that drains Pierce, because that's actually kind of rare. This game often follows the Fire Emblem rule of flying things that are weak to arrows. Should I go for another Mudo? You know I'm going to go for another Mudo, just in case it actually does something. Titan, come forth and actually be useful. Or not. Unfortunately, these things aren't that bad, apart from the fact that Metis is totally useless against them. That actually hurts quite a bit.
Just one enemy left.
Anyone here resist Pierce? No, okay then. But Genbu does have some pretty decent defensive stats, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to you, and then I'm going to... Ken goes now. Yukari doesn't go until after it, so I'm going to have to heal myself here. Just to be safe, medicinal powder, even though that's my last one. We will be able to get more medicine soon.
Please help me.
Oh, hey, you actually do have something that can hurt this thing. Why weren't you using it more often? Oh, Maron Karen. That's why. Yeah, Maron Karen. That's a great skill. Yeah, they buff status a lot in Persona 5. That's a lot of yen. And it's actually a pretty good time to be getting a lot of yen. But yeah, status is so much more useful in that game. Particularly Confusion. Confusion is kind of hilarious in that one. But something else I was saying is, yeah, in Persona 5, technically Light and Dark are a lot more useful, but that's only because they, is that better than what she currently has? Okay, it's obviously better than the Armored Semi-Shell. Resist Elect Medium. That would normally be good if this was the journey, but I guess he's no longer always weak to electricity in the answer. But yeah, they buffed that by virtue of having like standard damaging light and dark elemental skills, but there's also the fact that oh hey, I guess leveled up again. But please tell me Ken leveled up from that, because he's dying very quickly. No, how far off of leveling up are you? Because I really want you to get healing. You're close. Wow, you seriously don't get healing until level 29? You are... And by you, I'm addressing the answer directly. You are not trying to help that stigma that Ken is useless. Because I actually think he's not that bad in battle in this game, but yeah, the answer did not give him a particularly good starting set of skills. Kinda wanted to get you mainly because you're good auto Tarukaja fodder for fusions. And finally Ken's skill level is increased. Unfortunately needs to increase a few more times before he finally gets healing. Also, the thing that I was going to say about Persona 5 and Light and Dark skills, they buffed them by virtue of having actual damaging Light and Dark skills, but at the same time, that means there's little to no reason to actually use Hammer and Mudo in that game. So there are 2 more enemy types that we haven't seen yet. We'll see if they end up showing up. Yeah, that is a Gold Shadow, I saw that right. Come here, Gold Shadow. There we go. And I just like to rush these, as always. Why is it they always start out weak to Pierce for some reason? Maybe it's not random, maybe they just cycle through and it's always Pierce to start with, because every single time I've run into one of those, it's always been weak to Pierce first. Finally. Okay, this is one of the new enemies. Sky Balance.
Give me a sec. I'll scan the target.
Balancers usually use 2 elements and are weak to the other 2 elements. So this one in particular is weak to fire and ice and uses electric and wind. So Yukari might be in danger here, but being weak to ice means... Actually, let me check what Genbu's weak to. Actually, weak to Zio is not that great. Actually, Sati is pretty useful here, because they can't use Sati's weakness, and Sati has one of the things that is strong against them, so let's go for Miragi. Though I probably still want to get the scan in just to show it. Well, I'll probably be getting it, because I didn't, And Metis is still suffering from Mitsuru's curse. Wonder if people will actually... Don't do that! That's bad! Thankfully, she blocks that, otherwise that would have been terrible.
It has multiple weaknesses.
So, yeah, weak to fire and ice, repel electric and wind, and it uses electric and wind and has the respective boost skills for those. And that one's probably dead. No, it's not. Okay, then.
Still 4 enemies left. I need your help.
And let's see if they all get hit by Miragi. I feel like these multi-targeting attacks have been a little bit less reliable because I think on hard mode enemies dodge more. I'm not entirely sure of that, but I wouldn't put it past them. And that all-out attack did a lot of damage. That's probably the auto Tarukaja working for me. And hey Titan, I already have you, so yeah. I've noticed that less experience cards seem to be showing up. I don't know if that's also a feature of the answer being on hard mode, or if it's just...
My skills have increased.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yes! My skill level has increased.
Yeah, I still prefer later Persona... Oh, that's not good. That's really not good. You are right in the way of those stairs. Yeah, see, Ken has a slightly modified victory animation, which is a kind of nice touch. What I was saying is I prefer in later Persona games how you can directly see all of your party members' levels just from the menu screen and you can equip them there, rather than just having to talk to them individually. Okay, we need healing. I'm going to have you heal. And we're on the 11th floor, so we've actually got a little bit of a way to go, but not that long. Starting to approach the point where I'm probably just going to skip straight to you turned around before I could shoot you, didn't you? Yes, you did. Single enemy, huh? Usually that means it's a pretty strong one, but there aren't that many strong enemies around this area. I had a feeling it would be just one relic. I like finding chests in this particular area because since they're always up on that pedestal in the middle of a small room, it's often easier to avoid any shadows that are also in rooms that have chests. So, chests are pretty easy to grab in a place like this. Speaking of which, I sort of wanted to talk a little bit about the aesthetic of, let me see, no, it doesn't, there's probably something through there. The aesthetic of the Abyss of Time, it's kind of interesting. In a lot of ways, it lacks some of the creepy factor of Tartarus, because there's none of that blood everywhere, but it makes up for it by just feeling... I don't know if anyone else gets this impression, but the feeling that I get from this place is it just feels cold. Just really cold and depressing. Which, in a way, fits what this place represents, and yeah, I do feel like the entirety of the answer is one big metaphor. I'll talk about that much later on, but... So, we're almost at the end of this path. Hi there, Shadow. Guess we can just keep speeding through here, because I can always grind Ken off camera. Last time I went through this area, though, I found a couple of rare chests. It'd be nice to get a few more of those. Large shadows usually are a bunch of balancers. Yes, you're a bunch of balancers. Thought so. I'm gonna see what we get in weapon cards. Bow of Affection. If I remember right, that's actually not bad.
Yes.
Hey, Ken finally leveled up again. Still one more level before he can actually get healing, though. It's only slightly better than what you currently have, but +3 magic is not bad at this point in the game. I thought that inflicted charm, but guess it doesn't. Also, that line is kind of funny for Igus. Uh-oh. Just barely avoided a preemptive there. Exit, and there's the stairs. I'm gonna keep going just to see if there are any chests around, though. You're probably gonna notice me. Yes, you did. There's a shadow in there. This is one of those rooms that loops around on itself. Well, this place is pretty labyrinthine, and... aha! My searching paid off. Actually, forget what that does. Forget if that's resistance to thunder or makes your thunder stronger. Increases dodge against it. Okay, then. I've already got a slightly resist electricity thing on, so don't really need that all that much. Wow, this is a big floor. And it's not really necessary because I already found the stairs. So I'm going to go back to the stairs. Yep, sadly this isn't Persona 4, where once you've found the stairs, you can walk back to the stairs at any time. Which, in some ways, kind of made dungeon crawling feel a little bit too easy. Just want to check if there's... Nope, nothing down there. Oh, you were right in the way of those stairs! Thank you. Okay. That could have ended really badly. I probably shouldn't have gone for that. So, 14th... And the stairs are right there! So... yeah, I don't really need to explore this place, except I might want to anyway, because there might be chests. You know what? I can always just come back here off camera, so... let's head to the 15th floor. And I love how this place looks so much. I love the flowing sand here, and even those torches just look really cool. So yeah, you can even explore this place a little bit. So this is officially the end of the Malbolge area. It's only 15 floors in total. So we've got this pendulum swing here, sideways buildings. staircases and just all this sand, and even like this platform that's actually made of sand that's dripping off the sides. I just love how this area looks. Something that I will say about Persona 3, I actually feel like graphics-wise, it's aged surprisingly well. Anyway, let's go ahead and examine this door.
A door. It seems like we've reached the first goal.
This place was bigger than I thought. How many more times we gotta do this?
Well, probably at least once more for every other door in the desert.
I don't know for sure, but judging by the desert of doors, I'm betting it's not going to be just once or twice. Ugh, I was afraid you'd say that.
Don't get disinterested, you're our main healer, we need you.
We're looking for the source of our troubles, so logically, it should be at the deepest level.
Then all we can do is keep on going forward until the end.
It's like Tartarus all over again.
Except downward instead of upward, like I've said before.
The two structures are very similar in some ways.
Not only that, we've got the friggin' shadows wandering around. Jeez, I never thought I'd have to see another one of those. But hey, the Lost are all gone. So how come they're still around?
Remember, this was before the series, well, at least the post-2 series, actually explained what shadows were. For all the characters in Persona 3 knew, Nyx was the source of shadows, so by defeating Nyx they should have been all gone, but they don't know yet that, in fact, humanity itself is the source of shadows, which is not a spoiler to anyone who's played any later games.
Another question that needs an answer. Well, it's not like we can leave until we find out.
What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. It's just...
I've been turned into a jerk by this mode.
After the hell we went through, we finally had some peace. I was determined to keep my eyes on the future and not look back.
And look what this has done to my character developments.
But now I'm being dragged back to the way things used to be.
Yukari.
Time doesn't flow normally here. It's no surprise you feel that way. You'll find there will be many opportunities to revisit your past here.
Well, pretty much everyone here has a messed up past, so that's not going to be good.
What's that supposed to mean?
And okay, here's another example of why I feel like Yukari has no logical reason to deliver this line with her voice dripping with bitterness and disdain, but I feel like the voice direction was just like, okay, Michelle Ruff, say everything as if you hate everything in all existence. Because that's pretty much Yukari in the answer, summed up. But where will this door lead us? It's Polonium Mall.
This is... huh? Polonium Mall? But weren't we just inside?
Seems pretty normal.
What's going on? Did we make it out somehow?
I don't know. Something seems off.
Usually when you're in some kind of an eldritch location and you go into somewhere that resembles a real location, it's generally some kind of replica or something else is off.
Isn't it kind of hot in here?
You kids.
Oh hey, guy who has the same voice actor as Shinjiro to save on voice acting budgets.
Kurosawa-san.
What are you doing out here on a weekday? Shouldn't you be in school? but it's spring break now.
Spring break? That was a couple months ago. It's June now. What's with those two in costume back there? Is there some sort of event going on?
Yeah, I was about to point out that those two are probably a little suspicious walking around in the public. Meanwhile, Metis is
No, it's,
just gonna stand there and not really do anything to alleviate his suspicions.
Well, I'll let it slide. I know you kids are a little different.
So, at this point, he still knows that we're members of C's.
But if you try to use that as an all-purpose excuse, I'll have to enforce the law. Don't forget.
Yes, enforce the law for kids skipping school. Admittedly, that's still better policing than Persona 5.
jeez.
All the dates displayed here say 2009. That calendar, too.
And that's the year that Persona 3 was mainly set in, which was actually the future in the time that Persona 3 came out.
Could the June he mentioned be June of last year?
What was Gary Stu doing in June of last year? If I check back in the Max Social Links guide, it seems that we fought the Empress and Emperor Shadows, started Chihiro's social link, I almost said Confidant there, and we also maxed it. So we actually maxed our first social link in June, which fittingly for Gary Stu was also the first romantic social link because that was his highest priority. We also met Koromaru back in June.
That's impossible. Are you saying this is the past? Hey, Aige's sister.
Yes, because I clearly don't respect you enough to use your real name.
Hey, are you listening?
And she is mesmerized by the fountain. Is she Elizabeth or something?
Are the things here that interesting to you? No, not at all. It's all everyday stuff, right? This is a fountain, and that over there is a store.
She's actually a lot more like Elizabeth than I thought, huh?
It's true that I sometimes come here to gaze at the fountain. Really? Then you feel the same? But there is something odd about being here. For all of us, not just you. Tell me, what is this place? We came here by passing through a door, remember? Doors like that are in several places throughout the abyss of time, and each one is connected to the past.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. You probably should have explained that earlier.
Then, this really is last year?
We better be careful, else we might actually run into him.
How else can you explain the different time and season? But it seems you can't go just anywhere in the past, only somewhere from your memories.
Ah, got it. This place is linked to our memory. Wait a minute. Doors that connect to the past linked to your memories? This is pretty much exactly Trails in the Sky the Third.
This looks like a mall, but I don't think it's connected to any place else either.
The past? Oh, man.
Junpei was probably, remembering the kind of homework he had back then and panicking.
It's lucky we found this place. We'll be able to get supplies here. We should be able to use what we can get here until the abyss of time disappears. The reason why the door led us here may have something to do with you. The doors may reflect your inner thoughts.
So, our inner thoughts said we needed an item shop. That's actually a pretty good thing to think up.
She's taking this pretty well. It's also bewildering to me.
Well, she kind of came from this place, apparently.
Well, one thing's a relief. At least we won't starve.
And our money
So it
actually...
was that we learned why that place was named the Abyss of Time. A place where you can revisit days gone by. But thinking back on it, it wasn't only the astonishing nature of the place that surprised us. It may be that we all unconsciously saw a kind of salvation.
Yeah, wanting to return to the past to escape from painful memories in the present. I think a lot of people go through that kind of thing. You know, I really miss this music. I'm just so glad that we get to hear this music again, though it's kind of weird running around this place as Igus. So yes, we're actually in Polonium Mall. Actually, you've been through this exact thing once before, but you don't remember it. Sort of? Not really, no. That's not really what you'd call a shop, usually. He just has a special deal with us. Well, at least they get to return to the party, so that's another side effect of us finding this place. Yeah, you be careful of, what you do in the past here. So it turns out that we can't leave this place. If we try, we actually get a pretty cool animation there, but, yep, no leaving this place. We are restricted to just Polonium Mall. And we're also restricted even further because we can't do Game Panic. We can't go to the record store. Pretty much anything here that is not a shop is inaccessible to us. See, here's the karaoke place that Gary Stu went to all the time, but we can't go there. Although, I mean, trying to imagine Igus trying to sing karaoke. Can't go in there. Can't go in Club Escapade. But we can enter B Blue V, the police station, the antique stop, and the drugstore. Now, here we can buy accessories. Most of them are crazily expensive, so I'd rather save buying them until later on in the game. We do have some items that boost our stats, but I feel like you can generally find better stuff than that in Tartarus, like armor that gives stat bonuses, but also, well, is armor. I'll save my money for other stuff at this point. The police station, though, is pretty significant, and that's where I'll probably be spending the most of my money here, because this place sells new weapons and armor. We don't have much in the way of new leg armor, so I might want to buy some new shoes, but yeah, a lot of this stuff is pretty expensive too. So yeah, like I said before, anything with torso in its name is usually for Metis. Also, something funny, just dog suit, regular dog suit without any kind of adjective, is better than rock dog suit. I think that's because this was Koromaru's starting armor from the journey, and he joined at a much higher level there, so he's actually going backwards in armor for some reason here. So yeah, we found that already before. You can still pick up some of this stuff in Tartarus. This stuff is definitely better in the evasion department, though. I might want to buy some of this. But yeah, it is pretty expensive. I'm going to need to go ahead and sell that thing's arm for 50,000 yen. No real reason to hold on to that. Also, no real reason to hold on to our wealth coins. They're pretty much all gold shadows are good for in this mode. And as for weapons, we've got a few weapons that we can buy here. Just something to warn you about, though. So if you're planning on buying weapons for Junpei and Koromaru, Junpei already starts out with a two-handed sword. Koromaru already starts out with the Kunai of Carnage, so if you're going to buy anything from them, make sure it's one step up from those. There's the grenade launcher, although I kind of like what we have at this point, the one that has increased crit ratio. Beast Fangs, Kaiser Knuckles seems pretty decent. I'm going to go ahead and buy something better for Metis, because I'm probably going to be using her a lot. I feel like maybe Ken needs a better weapon. But yeah, this runs you back a lot of yen. Stuff here is pretty expensive at this point, and at the moment I don't really feel like I need much else from here. But let's see if I can afford shoes. Yeah, I wonder if I should make Igus's equipment a bigger priority, but I would kind of like some of these. Yeah, I'll get some of these. Thankfully, stuff from the pharmacy isn't anywhere near as expensive, so having this much yen going in there is probably not that bad. And it's not like we can really spend yen on the Compendium at this point. So, we have some status curing items here. We have medicine, we have Patra gems, we have medical powder. I've got 6 revival beads already. I'm probably fine on those for the moment, but I definitely want more of this. Let's go ahead and get 5 of those. And maybe Patra gems are not that bad either, especially if a lot of people get hit with panic, so I'm going to go ahead and buy a couple of those. And, yeah, for now that's going to be all. Now let's check out the antique store. Unfortunately, the antique store at this point is not as useful as it was in the journey. You can't do weapon fusion here, which actually makes a lot of sense because I guess it's not free to use any weapons she wants. She's just restricted to guns. But here we have a whole bunch of items that we can trade gems for, so this is what these gems are for. Can't get any cards, but the items that you can get here are pretty good, provided that you have the right gems. Especially the SP restoring items. Unfortunately, I don't nearly have enough emeralds to do that. One more pearl and we can get a Balm of Life. Actually, Umrita water is pretty decent, but don't have rubies or sapphires. These can be useful sometimes. These are actually great. Definitely want to get these once I have the diamonds and sapphires. These can be decent as well, especially since they affect the entire party in this game, unlike in later Persona games where they got nerfed really badly. And these are all casting full party buffs, which we'll eventually learn later. That can be useful in a pinch. This thing is also useful until Fuka learns Escape Route, but for now I don't really have enough gems to make good use of this place. So we finally have an item shop, which is great progress. And if we try and go back through the door here, we find out something even better about the item shop. Yep, it links directly back to the dorm.
Huh? Is this... Wow! I didn't think we'd emerge directly here instead of the Desert of Doors.
Again, thank you, Inner Thoughts, for making such a convenient item shop.
Looks like this place is fully connected to the Abyss of Time now. Maybe it's because everyone was hoping to make frequent resupply trips. This will certainly make it easier to go back and forth.
Hello? We're kind of blocked back here.
Apparently, just 2 people standing in front of this door means that no one else can get through. It's kind of Pokemon NPC logic.
No way! This is crazy!
Hey, hurry it up. There's more of us blocked back here.
Well, definitely more enemies, more bosses, so it's a good thing we have an item shop now. And we can access it at any time. And even better, Junpei and Koromaru are back in action. We have 2 more party members. And once again, Junpei has amazing dialogue. Never change, Junpei. Unfortunately, Mitsuru is still out of the party. So we're 1 down. But for now, we've got a lot of party members back, which is great. And so, I think next time, we'll be going into the next area of... You know what, actually, I'm going to go ahead and just show something in the Desert of Doors. Even though going in there with only Igus is complete suicide right now, so obviously not going to enter any doors. But down here, Cocytus is now glowing. This will be our next dungeon. But just because Malbolge isn't glowing anymore, doesn't mean you can't go back in here. So thankfully, we still have access to any dungeon we've already completed, if you want to grind on easier enemies or get personas from Shuffle Time. So with that, I think I'll end this part here. Next time we'll be going into Cocytus. I think I'll be doing another Velvet Room session beforehand though, because we've only leveled up a little bit since we were last in there, but level 30 does mean we can get a few new personas like King Frost, so look forward to those. Look forward to more trips to the item shop, I guess. And I will see you next time. Hi there, turned into a jerk standing next to my save point.